KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus reminds you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads Up Guam, IP&E, Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and steaks, ribs, seafood, and our famous fresh garden bar, Ruby Tuesday. Good times you can taste.
Right now on Primetime, although Lulian Guerrero said she'll be calling for resumes to fill the recently opened State Historic Preservation Officer position, a union representative says otherwise. Plus, local activists sat with the island's governor to express concerns relative to the military buildup. And from vacancies to electronic monitoring, the judiciary goes before lawmakers for their budget hearing.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Chris Barnett. Can't touch this. That's what fired SHPO Linda Uggan's union rep says in response to the governor saying she's already moving to fill Uggan's shoes with a new hire. Here's more. The story of the controversial firing of former State Historic Preservation Officer Linda Uggan takes another turn today as the governor reiterates that she will replace the fired SHPO.
I am putting an acting director in place, and I will call for resumes. And depending on what transpires and what the results are of the commission, we can go from there.
Uggan's union rep Robert Koss telling KUAM News the governor should be more aware of GovGuam personnel rules and regs.
Now the governor says, well, I don't care what the law says. I'm going to fill the position because I want to. And, for me, that's troubling because that sends the message to the people that the laws of Guam don't apply to the governor of Guam.
A status hearing for Uggan's termination appeal has been scheduled for July 2nd. Koss, meanwhile, firing off a letter to Adelup asking for a meeting and warning that replacing Uggan would void her termination, lead to her reinstatement, and award her back pay. Koss says Uggan's firing likely retaliation for her filing of a grievance against her boss, DPR head Richard Ibanez. Ibanez had issued several adverse actions against Uggan, which Koss called trifles. They include a complaint that Uggan used an official vehicle to file her grievance against Ibanez. Koss says the complaints didn't justify Uggan's termination.
We don't know why she wants her out of there so bad. We do know that the investigation came first. They surfaced some kind of, talked about adherence to the law. Entered through an exit, grounds for termination.
Koss referencing an adverse action Ibanez issued to Uggan for driving in through the exit of a parking lot. Koss has also raised the issue of Ibanez's acting appointment expiring. Guam law says Ibanez is supposed to be confirmed by the Commission on Parks and Recreation, but that board doesn't have a quorum because the governor has only appointed one member to it.
I don't know where he's coming from with that. I had appointed Richard, and my understanding if there's no board there, then I'm like the board, so I appointed him, and so his authority is from my delegation.
Koss says the Organic Act, which the governor cites as her authority to appoint Ibanez, has a provision that allows Guam law to trump the governor's appointing power.
The governor does have certain authority, including the authority to, appoint agency heads, except that the governor is constrained by law. And where the law prescribes another process, I don't think the governor can just simply avoid assembling a board so that she can assume some sort of power.
Parks Director Ibanez has not responded to numerous calls and messages from KUAM for comment. He won't be commenting on it since it's a personnel matter. That from Adelup spokeswoman Janela Carrera. Ibanez has also not responded to our questions about what actions, if any, he has performed as acting SHPO since Uggan's firing on June 18th. Well, the governor has issued an executive order to reorganize and possibly revamp agencies that are involved in promoting Guam's cultural heritage. A task force will be created to review entities such as the Guam Historic Resources Division of the Parks Department. That's a division that used to be run by Linda Uggan, who was just fired days before. But the governor says her firing had nothing to do with that. Rather, she's looking to fix what's described as a scattered and fragmented approach that has diminished the effectiveness of the programs.
If you see my executive order, it breaks out the library. It takes away the Chamorro Village and will send it over to Gita. And then I think the Kahai is broken out too. So by doing that, we will be able to take more focus into the culture, with the culture. And I think it just makes it a little bit more efficient and applicable to our community. Yeah.
The task force will be made up of 3 appointees by the governor and has a deadline of September 1st to report back its findings and recommendations. And late this afternoon, over at Adelup, representatives from several of Guam's activist groups and organizations sat with the Magahaga of Guam discussing their concerns about the desecration of cultural sites as a result of the military buildup and the reinstatement of the Guam State Historic Preservation Officer, Linda Uggan. Our Tomas Maglotnia was there. Tomas?
It all started with that June 18 letter to the governor when activist groups said enough is enough. Tonight at the public meeting at Adelup, 24 representatives, each from a different group, are meeting with their Magahaga to explain some of their major concerns. Groups like Putehi Litekzan and Independent Guahan are joining a chorus of others telling the Magahaga that they want an end to the military construction and for the Shippo, Linda Uggan, to be reinstated. We'll have more on KUAM.com. Reporting in Adelup, I'm Tomas Manglotna.
Thanks, Tomas. We'll definitely have more on Primetime Wednesday. Beyond the bathrooms, Julia Santos flushes the details on Senator Moylan's proposal to refresh the smells and sights at our island's public parks.
Senator James Moylan's bill addresses the number 1 and number 2 issues at our island's public park restrooms by establishing a public-private collaboration in which the Department of Parks and Recreation will set the requirements and standards for the management of one of Guam's 70 public parks by a private firm through what is called an invitation for bid, or IFB. The bid will stipulate how the private firm intends on generating revenue via their business plan, which will provide the funding for the upkeep and possibly even improvement of the park's grounds and facilities. The senator says there's already interest in the private sector.
So yes, there are folks that are interested there. Some have great big ideas, some have smaller ideas too. But this will all be confirmed and agreed upon by Parks and Rec.
Senator Moylan stressed that GovGuam is dealing with major funding issues and that his bill will help save GovGuam money that it spends on maintenance contractors. An invitation for bid put out by DOA's General Services Agency received a response with an estimated cost of $244,000 for restroom attendance and service maintenance, and that's only for 15 parks. If Moylan's Bill 58 is passed into law, those funds could go toward more critical needs.
We have problems with our school facilities. We're trying to find more money for our police departments. The Department of Corrections has told us all their problems with their facilities. GMH is just waiting for us.
According to Senator Moylan, that's just the beginning of the benefits for his public-private partnership bill, citing that there is a potential for greater economic activity generated by the companies interested in investing and developing Guam's public parks. He used Two Lovers Point as an existing model that created business opportunities for local entrepreneurs, which in turn created new job opportunities for the island community.
Free enterprise develops jobs and helps our economy grow. Who pay the taxes to help pay for our needs? The police force, the fire department, the corrections department, our hospitals. Right? The private enterprise doesn't come in to try to get everything they can out of us. They want to grow with the community as well, because we're hiring people in our community to provide this service. The better the company performs, the better we can grow the businesses and then put more back into the general fund.
When asked about his thoughts on those who fear that private companies will abuse the public-private partnership, Senator Moylan says it's not in the company's best interest to be irresponsible or greedy.
It's not going to work. That company's not going to survive. The spirit of competition comes in, and they're going to provide a better service and a better product, and that's what we want to do. And by doing so, that's going to help, again, the community. There's 70 parks, and if we went around and took pictures at all the different parks, I'm sure they all need a lot of help. But if we can just take care of a few with a public-private partnership that can generate some income and give people jobs, where's the harm?
Bill 58 would authorize a minimum 10-year lease with an option to renew for an additional 10 years, and the awarded contract is subject to an annual performance review. Included also is a legislative termination provision. The legislation has been sitting and waiting for a public hearing since it was introduced in March. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Julia Santos.
The U.S. Customs and Immigration Service has failed to comply with the District Court of Guam order in the H-2B foreign labor lawsuit filed by the Guam Contractors Association That's the conclusion of a report and recommendation signed today by Magistrate Judge Joaquin Manabusan. He found that the USCIS has not complied with the January 2018 preliminary injunction order by Chief Judge Francis Tarinco Gatewood. They were enjoined to revert back to a previous long-standing review process in which a high percentage of H-2B visas were approved. But in his 13-page report, Judge Manabusan quoted GCA statistics that show that while 100% of visa applications for military projects have been approved, 0 applications have been approved for non-military projects. U.S. Justice Department lawyers representing USCIS have 2 weeks to respond. Fit for duty from a mental health perspective, but if triggered, elected leaders might want to reconsider her appointment. That from a leaked psychological evaluation on Department of Corrections Director Samantha Brennan. The psych eval noted that certain conditions could be activated if the director is judged adversely or unduly criticized. It's also less likely she would become symptomatic if she is in environments where she's supported and reassured that she is not under scrutiny. Although DOC employees expressed their concerns about the director, to KUAM News Committee Chair on Public Safety, Pito Terlahi, says the bottom line is that Brennan was deemed fit for duty.
As long as, she's doing okay and I'm receiving reports and I converse with her a lot of times, and I talk to the employees, and I don't find any bad report.
Brennan was confirmed unanimously by the Guam legislature. Reached out to the DOC director for comment. However, she did not respond. Well, stick around for more news here on Prime Time. You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O display is the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with a 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus in Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250, or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689, or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus in Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're going to be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're going to be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time as scheduled.
It's our local employees who understand the market, who understand the business, and provide that hard work for you each and every day.
When we hold ourselves to high standards, our customers also hold us to high standards. We establish good business relationships that turn into friendships. That's why it's so important to be here and be trusted by your customers. We want you to trust Matson like your friend, like your family.
The Judicial branch says it has a lot of vacancies to fill, but it's still asking for about the same budget of $36 million that it got last year. It also announced it'll finally be launching an electronic monitoring program to keep better tabs on detainees. Our Nestor Lecanto reports.
Chief Justice
Catherine Merriman and Court Management presented their fiscal year 2020 budget, which is actually just slightly lower than the current year. Personnel, of course, is the biggest cost, but as Court Administrator John Lizama explains, they have a lot of critical positions to fill.
In fiscal year 2018, we lost 28. Our current vacancies are over 50. And we anticipate an additional 5 to 10 employees retiring by the end of this fiscal year. So where you see the huge increase in our budget is in our personnel.
The court also wants to reinstate increments and meritorious bonuses. Meanwhile, they also announced the signing of a $300,000 contract for ankle bracelets for defendants on house arrest.
We're looking at, again, using FY18 appropriations to launch the program with up to 150 clients, detainees on the electronic monitoring program, which consists of both GPS tracking and radio frequency home detention.
The court is also looking to upgrade its computer system and is again asking for money for an 8th judge. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
And good news coming out of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, as the agency has announced that it received high performer designations on both its Section 8 and public housing programs for fiscal year 2018. At a recent meeting between the GURA Board of Commissioners and officials from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the federal agency informed the Housing Authority that it scored above 90% on both Section 8 Management Assessment Program and Public Housing Assessment System certifications. HUD conducts annual certifications of housing authorities nationwide. Now, these high performer designations indicate that GURA meets basic performance standards and demonstrates an exemplary level of competency in administration of its programs. The 30th Pacific Islands Environment Conference continues this week, bringing together a record 500 participants, ranging from scientists to community members. As our Tomas Manglotnia reports, they're focused on implementing solutions.
A plea for the next generation, the future of the Pacific, or what organizers of the 30th Pacific Islands Environment Conference call the Blue Continent, needs to be green. Conference co-chair Conchita Taitano.
It's not a conference that identifies some of the problems that we share, but to celebrate what we have in common, because it is the ocean that connects us.
A record of 500 participants from across the globe with various subject matter knowledge are on Guam for the biannual 3-day conference. From leaders in Colombia to Oakland, some say that even if oceans separate them, they share solutions to combat climate change. California Dream Corps Director Vian Trong.
What we have learned in the United States is we cannot wait for our president to act. We have to make sure that we're working together across the globe and across communities to work together.
It's an international collaboration focused on giving the next generation a greener future. Topics ranging from zero waste to coral reefs allow attendees to interrogate the issues and come up with ideas to implement on a global scale. Also on the table, news of Guam's military buildup and the preservation of cultural land and artifacts. Acting Lieutenant Governor Tina Muñoz Barnes says she caught up off-island visitors with the matter.
Because if we lose what was vitally given to us as a gift, then our children will suffer for generations to come.
Indigenous people scholar and Native American environmentalist John Waterhouse from Oregon, a veteran himself, says there is room to engage all stakeholders when it comes to the environment.
We have the great honor to work around the world. And just in the last few days, the people here seem more engaged in taking care of this beautiful island than a lot of places I go.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tomas Manglotnia.
The governor today signed an executive order that officially implements the Guam Coral Reef Resilience Strategy. The Magahaga, in her keynote speech at the 30th Pacific Islands Environment Conference, said that the island's coral reefs are facing great danger. In the last few years, Guam lost 1/3 of its shallow corals and 50% of total fish biomass. She called on partners to take action.
The strategy targets 5 primary outcomes to help us better manage our reefs to make them stronger, healthier, and more likely to survive the impacts of coral bleaching and other consequences of climate change.
The governor says the order activates working groups to address ocean and land-based concerns. Our Dave Delgado is coming up next with sports. Keep it here.
What's that? An Alpha Insurance customer needs a claim settled immediately? I'm on it. Agent Alpha.
In the event of an accident, theft, or breakdown, each of our Alpha Insure agents are trained to go above and beyond.
This is my stop. There she is. Target acquired.
Agent Alpha. Yes!
Now there's a technology that's lighting the way to a new mortgage for people all across Guam. Introducing Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii, Hawaii's leading lender. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii lets you apply for a home loan anytime from any device, making the mortgage and refi process faster and easier. Or work hand in hand with one of our residential loan experts. So put the power of choice and control in your hands. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow.
How can you make McDonald's hot and deliciously juicy Quarter Pounder even more delicious? One word: bacon. The new fresh beef Quarter Pounder Bacon or Deluxe. 2 new ways to leave you speechless. Pair it with any size soft drink for just $1. What do you get when you add lettuce and tomato to McDonald's hot and deliciously juicy fresh beef Quarter Pounder? You get fresh on fresh on fresh. The new fresh beef Quarter Pounder Deluxe or Bacon. 2 new ways to leave you speechless. Pair it with any size soft drink for just $1.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. We'll take a look at some footage from a jiu-jitsu seminar that was held at Vita BJJ in Barragata in just a bit. But first off, a look at Team Guam's swimming team heading to the Pacific Games. Check it out.
Guam will be sending 6 athletes to Samoa for swimming. Since the pool is reopened, the team has been training daily and, when possible, putting in work at the pool twice a day. Team Guam has been racking up those hours and yardage in preparation for the Pacific Games.
Guam has always medaled throughout the years in Pacific Games, so we're hoping to see some medals come out from swimming this year again. And yeah, we've been doing some great work, and thanks to all the coaches and supporters for getting the pool open.
Benjamin Schulte took home a gold medal in the 400-meter individual medley at the 2015 Pacific Games in Papua New Guinea with a time of 4:49.7. Schulte finished the games with 4 medals: gold in the 200-meter individual medley, silver for the 100-meter breaststroke, and a bronze for the 200-meter breaststroke.
Pacific Games is definitely the top tier of the South Pacific swimming and anywhere in Oceania. And with the involvement of New Zealand and Australia, you know, that stage has just gotten even bigger for us. And so working up to it, we have the micro games and all the other swim meets in between, and Oceania as well. And to get to Pacific Games and to medal there and just to even be there is an honor in itself.
Pilar Shimizu took home 2 silver medals. Her time of 33.88 in the 50-meter breaststroke was good enough for second, and in the 100-meter breaststroke, she finished with a time of 1:16.50 for silver. For Maneri Gomez, training both mentally and physically for the games is what she has been focusing on as she preps for the upcoming competition.
Once you get into the competition, you're 100% ready, and then you can max out 120% out there and get a good result. And every time we go out there, all those countries and athletes, we see them and they improve from the previous games, and we as well get improvements.
Turning over to some jiu-jitsu news, BJJ black belt Marcelo Nunez was on island conducting a jiu-jitsu seminar at Vita BJJ Zenith in Barragata. Nunez is an American national champion, Pan Am's champion, world champion, and MMA veteran fighter with a professional record of 5-1. The Brazilian black belt grew up in the city of Itu in Brazil and trained under Robert Drysdale. Marcelo became a world champion at blue belt and turned to Muay Thai early in his career, recording 6 knockouts and going 7-0 in the sport of kickboxing.
Check out Triple J's spectacular deals going on now during the hot summer savings event. 0 down and no payments for 90 days. Get into a Mazda CX-5 at its lowest price of $19,995 or $152 per paycheck. The big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $282 per paycheck, or the Honda Civic starting at only $176 per paycheck. Triple J says yes. Purchase your next vehicle online at triplejguam.com today. Triple J, customers first.
Nacho Fries Chasing Gold strikes all the right chords. Powerful, gripping, delicious, says the Hollywood Reporter. Critics can't get enough of Nacho Fries. And if you can't either, get Nacho Fries at Taco Bell today.
The phone you want now on the best network and a plan that gives you endless data on chat, social, and music apps. Tell your Docomo Pacific rep you want now with access. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
It is a wonderful happy birthday to 2 very special Guamanians. First, to Alana Akfaji. Happy birthday to our awesome big sissy, Alana, we love you. Say mom, dad, brothers, and your very special sissy. And happy belated birthday wishes tonight going out to John Anthony Santos, to the best for last brother-in-law, John Hook Anthony. You are always our #1 papa, Hook husband, Daddy Hook, son-in-law, and brother-in-law. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Always know we are here for you no matter what. God bless you, brother. Happy birthday. Can't say it better than that.
Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birth date. That's going to do it for us here on the news desk, but stay tuned. Our very own Jason Salas is next with Extra.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world. Health, home, and lifestyle. Presented by Paradise Fitness Center, changing lives since 1996.
It is time, if you didn't know, for Health, Home, and Lifestyle, and our friend Nurse Jen Artero is up first with Health Check.
Health Check with Nurse Jen is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Half a day, I'm Nurse Jen, and it's time for your Health Check. Stevens-Johnson syndrome is a rare but very serious disorder that usually occurs as a reaction to a medication or an infection. It often begins with flu-like symptoms, followed by a painful red and purple rash that spreads into weeping blisters throughout the entire body. Ultimately, Stevens-Johnson syndrome is a medical emergency because the affected skin can die, shed, and not regrow back. It's crucial that doctors and nurses work together in an attempt to heal the integumentary skin infection before additional complications occur. The end goal is to help the skin regrow, but this regrowth can take days, weeks, even months, depending on the severity of the condition, age of the client, and prognosis. If Stevens-Johnson syndrome was caused by a medication, it's important to permanently never use this drug ever again, or drugs in the same pharmaceutical classification. If you are currently taking multiple medications, be on the lookout for signs and symptoms related to Stevens-Johnson syndrome. These symptoms include a fever, unexplained widespread skin pain, a red or purple skin rash that easily spreads, skin blisters, and even blisters in the person's mouth, nose, eyelids, and genitals. Advancement of the disease includes skin shedding within days after the blisters start, forming with pain in the mouth, throat, and eyes. If you've been diagnosed with the herpes virus, pneumonia, HIV, or hepatitis A, these infections will, with multiple prescriptions, have been associated with Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Multiple medication therapies associated with Stevens-Johnson syndrome include anti-gout meds combined with anti-seizure and antipsychotic meds, while simultaneously taking over-the-counter pain relievers such as acetaminophen, ibuprofen, and naproxen, with antibiotics such as penicillin. This diagnosis is considered a medical emergency because it can ultimately lead to sepsis, cellulitis, eye and lung complications with permanent skin damage. There's often no way to know how you'll react to certain medications, but if you are of Asian descent, you may have the gene that increases your risk. Prevention starts by buying a medical alert bracelet that clearly shows the name of all the medications that you're allergic to. This will help the doctors to avoid prescribing these medications or any medicine that falls into the same classification. Research clearly shows that when an individual plays an important active role in their own health care, complications are less likely to arise. So it's important to know your body and be able to self-identify abnormal symptoms. It was great hanging out with you, Esta. Till next week, same place, same channel. I'm Jen Artero, registered nurse, reminding you, don't wreck yourself, health check yourself.
Health Check with Nurse Jen is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Thanks, Jen. Stay tuned. There is more coming up.
At Island Cancer Center, we treat our patients and their families like our family. We have all been touched by cancer, and it is important to feel comfortable and secure under the care of our health professionals. You can count on us for skilled cancer specialists, the most advanced cancer-fighting technology on the island, and a commitment to caring for you or your loved one with compassion, respect, and empathy. Our family, treating your family.
Island Cancer Center, located on Guam Medical Plaza. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 646-3363.
Off day, my name is Jonathan Jose, and I am the co-owner of Opaque. Opaque is a local clothing streetwear brand inspired by our culture and our lifestyle. Our main mission is to be who we are, and it's more of like, this is our culture, take it or leave it, because this is who we are. We're not going to try to pretend to be anyone else. The Hafude Pledge is like the essence of Guam culture. The people of Guam are just naturally hospitable, so it's just more of like a reminder, a reinforcement, to the youth of Guam. It's like, this is who we are. Don't forget your roots. We're a giving people and a welcoming people. Having that local pride is, definitely a Guam thing. I mean, in a world of 7 billion, we're pretty unique. To share that with the world is even more special. To be able to share your experiences and share your pride, with the rest of the world.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus in Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250, or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689, or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus in Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Welcome back, everybody. An island tradition is coming up, the barbecue block party, and I have two gentlemen on the KUM couch. One that knows about hospitality, two that is an expert in steak. So if you're respecting Chamorro, you are going to love this interview because we have Josh and Phil. Hafa gentlemen.
Hafa day.
Thanks so much for joining me, and I guess I should say Happy Independence Day ahead of time, July 4th. And Josh, tell us all about what you guys have in store this year for the barbecue block party, because it's always the event to go to.
Yeah, definitely one of the event of the summer, especially in July. So we have the 7th annual barbecue block party that's coming back.
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. So that's going to be on July 6th, 5:30 to 10 p.m. right down in Pleasure Island. We're going to be blocking off the street there for everyone to come and enjoy and witness the barbecue competition and fulfill those desires to eat some good steak and those turkey legs and just, make sure to bring your appetite.
And of course, that is where Phil comes in, because Triple J is always the official sponsor of the protein.
Absolutely.
So that means it's uniform across the board and nobody can say.
No one can go pick your beef here, buy your beef there. It's all going to be inspected down there by our secret inspectors.
And of course, you're giving them the most premium meat you can get.
Absolutely. Certified Angus beef.
So all the chefs have to do is basically like show up, bring their tongs, bring a little bit of sauce, and then just go to work, right?
Absolutely. Just read the rules. Read the rules so you can't get disqualified if you don't read the rules. So.
Okay. now, with all due respect to my friends at GVB, right? The barbecue block party is only more or less between, Sandcastle and maybe up to the Outrigger, right? But I swear, I've been there for so many years. You can smell the wafting smells of barbecue meat all the way from the Hilton all the way to the Nico. It is truly a two-month event.
Yeah, definitely. And we just want to invite everyone to come down. This is a great opportunity for visitors and our local residents to come together. And we're going to have drinks, we have food, we have live local entertainment. Actually, we have a little bit more entertainment this year than previous years. So we're really excited about that. And so just something for the entire family. So we just want to invite everyone to come down.
Phil, approximately how much steak are we talking about when you guys, get the shipment ready and, roll to that part of the island and just say, we're setting up?
Well, actually, if you got 8 competitors, we're going to give out like 10 to 20 pounds worth of protein, beef, pork, chicken.
Wow.
And the bragging rights is let the smoke begin and see who comes out smoking champions, man.
And there have been some incredibly creative concoctions over the years. I remember you go down there and people are blown away. And these are, we got our friends from the military show up there and they said, I've been eating smoked barbecue for years. I've been eating grilled. And they're like, I've never had anything like this. And they're totally happy.
Yeah. Totally different mixture marination here at Guam. All through the years, the island here, everyone has their own bragging rights of finadeni, marination, you name it. So, may the best person win.
Maybe an adult beverage or two mixed into the marinade,
perhaps.
perhaps.
Yeah. It used to be like Smoking Wills. Miller Lite will sponsor it, and you have to use Miller Lite in your marination.
Okay.
So maybe last year, the other years, was a Jack Daniels. So you have to use Jack Daniels infused.
Another island tradition.
There you go.
Okay. So, Josh, I always ask you this every time we come in, but parking. It is so important. Everybody thinks about it, and you always are the man with the answer. So
absolutely. I mean, parking, you can park anywhere in Tumon, but we're bringing back a free transportation. We're working with Lam Lam Tours, so people can park at our satellite location at Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Beach Park, EPAL Beach Park. You can park your car there and take a shuttle, courtesy of Lam Lam Tours, and then they'll take you over to the Pleasure Island site. And
I would actually prefer to do that because you get a nice open air.
It was pretty popular last year, and so we're bringing that back. We're listening to what people are the feedback of everybody that experienced it, and so. That shuttle will run from 5:30 p.m. all the way through 9:30 to take you back to your car. So you don't have to worry about that. And otherwise you can park anywhere in Tumon. Of course, I think there's another satellite location opposite side near Nico that you can also park there too. But it's just a few blocks down. You can
over near the tennis courts.
Yeah, and just bring an umbrella just in case, because it
might rain.
It might rain a little bit, but a little rain is a blessing. So
now, one thing that I've noticed is. This has probably been, and you guys at GVB put on so many amazing events, but this is probably the most social media accepted event. You see everybody hashtagging stuff. It's all over Snapchat. It's all over Instagram stories. You just pass by and it says, here's what's happening near you in Tumon.
That's true. I always see like the turkey legs. Yeah. When everyone's walking around their turkey legs like it's Disneyland and you're just taking those pictures. And we're going to have like different displays too, like Guam Barbecue Block Party for you to post your selfies with and the family, and it's just a great time, honestly. And
is that the same sign we had last year? That big Guam block.
Yeah,
barbecue?
I'm
made
not
out of wood.
Yeah, the wooden one from
Yes,
last year.
yes.
Yeah, that was
nice.
a huge hit last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the team is coming up with next for this year.
And there's always little Easter eggs, things, and
Yeah.
down in Tumont, you guys put like a half pipe and people were skating one year, and you did like another. There's always music, and there's always there was a magician one year. It's always busy.
Yeah. There's always something new in each element, and so I think this year we're really just enhancing the things that worked well with us. So definitely the barbecue competition. We have like 8 competitors this year. Yeah, and then also we have entertainment. So we have a few local bands, and then we also have a ukulele player from Singapore that's going to be coming over too.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're going to be finalizing everything, the lineup, and it should be pretty awesome.
All right, well, guys, we got to run, but there's a lot more information online, and we'll link that to you so you can check it out. Guys, happy Liberation to you.
Happy Liberation.
All right, we'll see you there on the block party.
You
we'll
too.
see you after this.
Smiling is a natural response to joy, happiness, and excitement. Your smile reveals a lot about who you are. A healthy, beautiful smile can brighten your appearance and be an invitation to conversation and friendship. It is often one of the first things people notice about you. Now, thanks to the advancements in dentistry, you can have the smile you have always wanted, giving you an improved smile that looks and feels great.
My silver fillings that I have, they're getting older in my mouth and I need to replace them. So I've started to do that, and I've replaced them with the white fillings, and I've had really great success with that. It looks good, they feel natural, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the bleaching. I want a white look all around my mouth.
Guam Barbecue Block Party is back and hotter than ever. Check out what's cooking down in the Pleasure Island streets of Tumont and enjoy taste delicious barbecue treats on Saturday, July 6th from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Admission is free. Celebrate your love for barbecue with the sizzling GVB signature event presented by Tea Galleria by DFS, the Plaza Shopping Center, Outrigger Guam Beach Resort, and Dusitani Guam Resort. Thank you for making Guam a better place to live, work, and visit.
We're back, everybody, and I am talking with my very good friend, someone I have not seen in a very long time. So Kate Baltazar Dodge is here, and we are talking about grief recovery.
Yes.
A very, very sensitive topic, but Kate, the right person, and certainly you have a very, very qualified team that is actually handling this topic, which everybody goes through. I don't care who you are.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So,
I appreciate this so much.
So how do we set this up in terms of context? Because we've talked on this show several times about the grief process and people going through grief and ensuring them that, there is a light at the end of the tunnel and you will get through this at some point. So, how do you kind of like come into the whole pipeline, if you will?
So you've met Darlene Garcia.
Sure.
So Darlene Garcia, she's fantastic. This is how I don't believe in accidents. I met Darlene some years back. So it's Darlene, Bernice Arceo McGill, Michelle Sasimoto, and Bobby Taitano, who is Darlene's mom.
And we did a podcast
So
with
Auntie
Bernice,
Bobby.
and she is equally tremendous.
She is. So this wonderful, vivacious group of women who I knew from various just sectors of my life got together and they said, hey, I think that you would be wonderful. Can you come to our grief talk? So the free grief talks happen pretty frequently, every month and so forth. But I was completely sucked in. For lack of a better phrase, I thought, this is it. This is what I want to do. And
Not at all. I think that's actually that's very appropriate because you saw the calling. Right?
Sure, and it was a nice return to the healing arts, my roots in human and social services.
Sure.
So it became this it just lit a fire inside of me, and just learning about when I was going through the certification with Darlene and Bobby and everyone, they brought Amanda Lambros out, who's the executive director of the Grief Recovery Institute for Australia, New Zealand, Oceania, Asia. And it gives you a whole different perspective on grief. Because a lot of there are a lot of myths surrounding grief. A lot of cultural things that, people have spoken about before, you have to be strong and time heals all wounds and sort of these colloquialisms that we've developed over time that don't actually help you take action to recover from this grief and loss. And everyone associates grief with death, right?
Exactly, and that's what I've learned talking to Darlene on this very show is grief now is multifaceted and it's a spectrum almost, right?
There's over 43 human experiences that generally cause grief.
Loss of work.
Loss of work, loss of a relationship, pet loss, any transition, even if it's a joyous one, for example, relocating.
I was just going to ask about that. Like, what if you move?
There is definitely loss in a move. Even if you're going for brighter horizons, say you got a new job and you're moving to the mainland and you have a bright horizon in front of you, but there is loss associated with that.
Yeah.
And that is, loss of normalcy, and for your children especially, and there's a special program for that, when children grieve. So the grief recovery method, as it's called, it's been around for 35 years, more than 35 years, and it's an action-based method to overcome your grief. And I'm telling you that people who have gone through this program say that it is so effective and partnered with actual long-term counseling and things like that, if you so choose, it's so effective because it really speaks to the heart of your grief. A lot of how we deal with grief in our society is up here. Right? It's very cerebral.
You can psych yourself out.
Exactly.
And I am testament to that.
And everything that we do when we deal with grief up here is masking, right? It's what we call STIRBs, right? Short-term coping mechanisms that we do. We shop, retail therapy, right? All these things that we do, shopping, drinking,
womanizing.
Sure.
Maleizing, we don't want to generalize, but yeah.
All disturbing. And it's all masking the symptoms of it's self-medicating yourself, self-medicating and masking your grief. So what the grief recovery does is put your grief in the forefront, put your heart on the forefront so that you can heal properly. Because if you aren't addressing those things and you're going along for a really long time, carrying that grief around, it's like what Amanda said, it's like rocks.
No, I guess I come from the old school, Kate, because traditional psychotherapy would say that's suppression, or you're just not dealing with your problems. You're finding all these other outlets to basically distract your own mind and your own heart and your own spirit, I guess.
Many people do.
From actually dealing with that. But is this something that modern science has uncovered and made it more palatable to people and just say, okay, it's not that difficult. This isn't, you don't have to have a PhD in some sort of, science and everything like that. Just deal with your problem.
Well, the grief recovery method is all evidence-based. And so it's a proven method when followed in fidelity, with fidelity, works. And, without giving away the shop, I can say that for anyone to get certified, you have to go through it yourself.
Ah.
So that's the other thing that is wonderful about this.
In software, we call that, we say you eat your own dog food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was a wonderful thing that I went through. And so going through that, and confronting my own loss and my own grief, which I think is tantamount to helping others through their grief. And I was so happy to do it alongside, Bernice, Darlene, Michelle, Auntie Bobby, and Amanda, and so all of us, and the four of them are dynamos. They're doing like all this stuff, and doing all these grief talks and seeing all these folks, because you can do one-to-one sessions or you can do a group session, and now we've expanded. So now there's 16 certified grief recovery specialists in Guam and the CNMI.
So because this is a sense of community, and that's what we as Guamanians are all about. We take care of each other. We don't let our neighbors or our family behind. Is the overall theme of this, from what I'm hearing, is it empathy? Because empathy is a collective emotion. You have to be able to relate to somebody else and say,
sure,
it's okay. I know what you're going through. I've been there. You're going to be just fine.
So one of the things about the grief recovery method is I don't know what you're going through, and you don't compare losses. So let's say
okay.
if I lost a parent.
That's an excellent point.
And you lost a parent, how we perceive loss is going to be different. So, for example, Darlene always likes to talk about her widow's support group, right? So everyone in there is a widow, but everyone's loss is different, even though everyone lost their husband. So you don't compare losses in that, say, I've buried children, right? And so that is not any more or less painful than, for example, someone who has lost a parent, you know? And so it's acknowledging that everybody's grief is at 100.
Because then you're going to make someone feel even worse, because then it's like, okay, I'm not worthy of grieving at this point because there's some rung on the ladder, right?
Even if it's the same.
That's fascinating.
Even if the person who passed away is the same, you're grieving the same person. Let's say you have a sibling and you've lost a parent, okay? Your grief is not the same as your sibling's grief. So you grieve in a different way, even if it's for the same person.
Which was very true, and that's exactly what happened to my sister and I.
Oh, okay, see, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's acknowledging that everyone's grief is at 100, whatever that grief may be. And it could be a pet loss. We don't minimize or compare grief. And you're right, it is empathetic, it is very heart and feelings based, and it's very action plan based on how you overcome your grief.
That is fantastic. Okay, Kate, we have to go. I wish we could have you here because we could literally go on for hours doing great things for the community. But where can people find more information or a contact number? So
grief recovery method, Guam and CNMI, we're on Facebook and Instagram. They can certainly call me or email me, kate@katebaltazar.com.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Wonderful seeing you again. You know you're welcome here anytime.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I love being here.
Especially because you are one of the people that want to make sure that all Guamanians let the healing begin.
I absolutely do want that.
All right, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
All right.
And we will see you right after this break.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O display is the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with the 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
Nacho Fries Chasing Gold strikes all the right chords. Powerful, gripping, delicious, says The Hollywood Reporter. Critics can't get enough of nacho fries. And if you can't either, get nacho fries at Taco Bell today.
House to home. presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Half a day, everybody, and welcome to House to Home. We are playing the back nine today, the second of two parts on making an offer on property. Liz and Gina are here from Remax Diamond Realty, Guam, and miraculously, we're wearing the exact same thing we wore last week because we're going to talk about after an offer is made, what happens then?
So let's say your offer is accepted. So what do you need to do to make sure you conform with the terms and conditions of the contract? Now, parts of the contract is, of course, you have to, within so many days, have to go apply for your loan. And hopefully you've done your homework prior to submitting your offer that you already pre-qualified, you know.
Yeah.
So you go get your loan, and in the process you're waiting for your loan commitment letter. So within so many days that loan commitment letter has to be submitted to the seller. So there's contingencies in your contract. Your loan commitment, you have to make sure the appraisal fits, that the appraisal is within the value that you submitted your offer in. Because if it's less than, then that presents a whole new process. But let's get to that at the end. So the appraisal, you have to do an inspection, of course, of the property. Not have to, but if you choose to do an inspection,
It would behoove
you
you
could
to do it.
hire an inspector. And again, depending on how you wrote your offer, your inspector, the pest inspection, if you're a veterans buyer, then of course, it's subject to a veteran approval of the appraisal. So your appraisal has to be at the purchase price, no less than the purchase price, if that's how your offer is written.
Gina, do you ever see people, especially out here, and you know, we're talking about tactics and strategy to, you know,
Yeah.
because if I really want the house, I really want to put, like, as we were saying last week,
best foot forward,
the
yeah.
very best offer I can. But
Mhm.
do people make like conditions on their offers, or can you put like additional stipulations outside of just the dollar amount?
You know, we do encourage that, and the reason is if you just wrote up an offer without, as Liz mentioned, contingencies, then if something goes wrong during that process, we don't have a means of getting you out of that contract. So when you show a piece of property, when you're helping a buyer, you have to identify the things. It is our professional responsibility to point out the items that we think they need to be concerned with. Sometimes when you're showing property, I notice buyers are excited and they're not looking at the nitty gritty. They're not looking at the trails at the corner, which indicates to me that there might be termites. Or we walk into a property and I notice, how come the house is ending right there and the fence is like a foot away from the house? And I have that situation right now where the house is, you know, the house is built and it literally is built to the fence line.
Well, I'm talking about different conditions, like, you know, trying to like, let's just say,
those,
spice up the deal.
But those are the conditions that we put into the contract. Oh, you're
Okay.
talking about how do you get your offer
Well,
accepted?
say like if for some reason I won like one of those really cool lotteries over at the mall and like a giveaway and I won like a free car that really I don't need. I was like, and I could say, hey, Gina, I'd like to buy this house for you.
And I'm going to give you a car.
Yeah, and then, you know, I know you've got a kid that's getting ready to graduate. Can I also give the
But
car with it?
But your contract is already in place. We're talking about a contract that's already been accepted. The terms and conditions in that contract have to be followed.
Mm.
We've had buyers who try to change the terms and conditions, and it cannot be changed unless there's an addendum prepared and both parties agree. If an addendum to make a change in the contract has been prepared, but only one party signs, there's no way you can execute that addendum unless both parties are in
Because
agreement.
that's why I was asking, because then it gets into some weird
but
legal
you know
stuff.
what? That's a good question, especially right now because the market is competitive for buyers. So could you do something on the front end before the offer gets accepted to get your offer noticed?
Right.
And I believe you can. I mean, I had a buyer who attached a letter to her offer along with photos, and that really did help the seller. I had one show up at the seller's office. We don't encourage this, but you know, when push comes to shove and he was very, very motivated to get the home. He showed up at the seller's office with a bottle of wine. And all he really
See, like
wanted
that.
was, let me deliver this bottle.
That's
Will you
salesmanship.
please look at my offer? Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
or like when I said the example I gave is, you know, I've got a car that I'm out using, I'd like to give it. In
Yeah.
that case, you literally are wheeling and dealing.
yes, but you got to do all
See
of
what I
this.
did there?
But
that's right.
here's
do
another
it on
thing.
the front end, though.
Right,
But here's
exactly.
another thing to keep in mind. Sometimes sellers don't want contact with the buyer because they feel that they need that middle ground to to hold their stands in terms of the terms and conditions that they want to uphold
They
in
don't
the
want to be
purchase.
corrupted or
They don't.
the person may be very influenced or influential.
They want to keep a distance, and sometimes, of course, there are two agents, and then the agents usually work out the details. Now, there are times where we bring both buyer and seller together, and both agents are there, but we document everything. Verbal does not carry.
Your agent has to sit with you and really, you both should come up with a strategy that works for both of you.
Yes.
But I do personally agree that sometimes in a very competitive market, you do have to do something to make your offer stand out. And as Liz is pointing out, that's something you need to make sure that whatever it is not going to turn off the seller.
Okay, next question. What if, do I have to disclose, if I'm a savvy business person and I make an offer to Gina for Gina's property, but I immediately know in my mind that I'm immediately going to flip this and I'm going to rent this out to Liz? Do I have to disclose that to you and say, this is what my intent to use it is for? Or
you only disclose that if you're an agent. So, for example, if I'm buying Gina's property and I'm a realtor, I could say, agent is purchasing the property and may use it for personal gain or resell it for a profit. We have different rules and guidelines that involve realtors. Our job is disclosure, disclosure, disclosure,
Right.
because we're the ones who have the knowledge and the upper hand. So when we're dealing with lay people, it has to be disclosed. You can't just buy it and not say. Now, if you wanted to buy it and resell it, that doesn't have to be disclosed. You're buying it for whatever purpose. Sometimes people want to distinguish. I'm buying it because I want to occupy. It does affect the loan process. Or they're buying it because they're an investor and there is a tenant in the home.
Okay, so as we head into the end of the show, my big takeaway from this whole discussion is there is a tactic, there is a strategy. You can be very savvy with this thing, but it's not as hard as it seems. Just have all your paperwork in order.
It's not as difficult as it seems if you're getting the right advice from your realtor.
Well, I'm lucky I have two avenging angels here that are always buzzing on either shoulder, giving me the best information I can. So thank you, ladies.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world. This primetime lineup is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world. KUAM Communications.